Hey guys, what's going on? This is Byron back with another 9 to 5 wholesaler show. And in this show, I'm gonna be doing an interview of Cordero, my guy out of Tennessee. We go way back, man.
Yeah,
Go way back. So it's nice to get him on, man, talk to him about what he doing, how he doing, and stuff like that. So if you're a new wholesaler, you trying to get into the game, you watching YouTube videos trying to get started, this will be a great one to watch, man. You're talking about somebody who, been there, been watching YouTube, got
right.
started, took action, and is crushing it out here in his market. So let's jump right into it, man. Cordero, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. And I know I was telling you, I just closed one last week, just closed one yesterday. I just went to go pick up the check, just left the bank. You know what I mean? Feeling pretty good.
That always feel good right there, man.
Man, telling you, feeling good and just trying to keep the ball rolling as the market's starting to shift, see where we're going. And I'm excited. I'm honestly excited for that, you know. So,
Yeah,
but
no
yeah,
doubt, man. I feel the same way. It's like, the market is shifting, you having to figure stuff out, but still, you feel like you got a handle on it. So
right.
that's a good thing, man. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it, man. If y'all don't know, this is a 9 to 5 wholesaler show. We're trying to help, 100 people with a 9 to 5 start wholesaling so they can live life on their own terms. If you identify with that and you like the venue of wholesaling, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out the other videos. Stay tuned to this interview. And man, we'll get you linked up. We'll get you hooked up. We'll send you in the right path. So here we go. So Kadera, what were you doing, man, before you started wholesaling?
So before I started wholesaling, I was in sales. I was working at like Verizon Wireless, T-Mobile,
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like that. And that's actually, I guess, an important part of it because like I knew I wanted to go into real estate. I wanted to invest, kind of like you always talk about how you've been looking into it for 8 years. I had
Yeah.
been looking into it for a long time. And so I told myself, man, I ain't had no experience in the sales arena at all. So
Yeah.
I intentionally went to go work at Verizon and I started in T-Mobile, then switched to Verizon um, before I switched over to wholesaling.
Oh, okay. So you was working at Verizon, and you just start like watching YouTube videos or something, or like where did it all like start as far as wholesaling? You were still working and
Man,
did it, or you like stopped working and started looking into it, or
that
what
is a
happened?
great question. Now that I think about it, man, I'm just looking back on it because so about actually what happened was I'm from Tennessee, born and raised, Middle Tennessee area, kind of all over Middle Tennessee. I moved to New Hampshire
Oh,
after
dang.
I w- it's that's a whole another story, but I did move to New Hampshire. I was there for like a year and some change, maybe like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And while I was there, my life was honestly kind of rough. I mean, I had kind of like a rough upbringing, just a weird coming up. And so
Yeah.
while I was there because I had to be. And I was like, man, how can I come back strong? How can I put my life together? And I really spent time. Uh, uh, I really spent time like trying to study what I was going to do. And actually, I started working at Verizon there because that's when I said, all right, while I figure out what I want to do, I need to be building up this skill set to like learn how to sell and negotiate, talk to people. I
Yeah.
was working at the Verizon, and this dude, he was just like, man, you heard of wholesaling? He kept talking about it. Man, I'm gonna buy me a jet off of wholesaling. I had been studying real estate as a whole, and this was
Yeah.
the first time I had heard about wholesaling. I'm saying like, man, what do you mean you get the deal under contract and then you sell it? Like that was like the silliest thing to me when
Yeah.
he told me the first time. Like, so you telling me you got a deal and you gonna give it to somebody else for a little piece of money? Why not just take it down and flip it? And I remember just like
Yeah.
waving them off like, well, y'all guys are silly because my goal is to be, and I'm trying to get into multifamily apartment complexes.
Yeah.
So it comes full circle, obviously, because we're here
Yeah.
now. But I remember when I first heard about it, I was like, man, what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
And
felt
so
the same way, man.
I was like, so, but then I had started, I ran into a couple people. I met some people in the business, even up there in New Hampshire. And then I started to realize, okay, real estate is what I wanted to do. I know that for a fact, and I want to build my business in that arena. So I moved back to Tennessee and I started planting my roots. And I got my first deal, still working at Verizon the whole time. Like I came
Okay.
back to Tennessee. Actually, I worked for Assurion, which is a call center. I don't know. Some people may be familiar with that,
I
but I
think
work
I've
for
heard of that.
yeah. It's like a call center, but they under the umbrella of Verizon. So
Oh,
that doing that, and I did that for like 8 months, man, that really sharpened my ability to get on the phones and talk to people. I was doing this, somebody told me this long time ago, work to learn, not to earn. Because
yeah.
I had goals to be in real estate. So all these other jobs, they was just so I can get better for real estate.
Yeah,
So
that's a good way to look at it, man, for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. And 2000, I want to say 2019 is when I got my first deal. I was working for Verizon at that time in the actual store location. And it was I had partnered with somebody on it. Like my friend, his mom was moving out of her place, her house. And so he was like, man, I know the landlord pretty well. Let me reach out to him and ask him. He didn't have any experience. He just had the presence of mind to ask the landlord.
Man.
And he did. And, and, and I didn't have experience, but I had been studying it for so long. I knew who to call. I knew how to put the deal together. So I found the buyer. Boom, boom, boom. We put that deal together.
Damn.
Um, and it was like that. It wasn't a straight assignment, wasn't a straight double close, but what it was that buyer was actually a mentor who I had found. She was somebody who was in the real estate field already. And once we came across this deal, it was on Shelby Ave in Nashville, which is right off of Shelby Ave, which is it's like downtown Nashville. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard about that.
So it was real prime location. So I called her up. I put the deal together. We structured it. She took it down and remodeled it a little bit, made like a little hallway walkway, because it was one of those where you got to walk through a one bedroom to get to another bedroom. So we fixed that, put it back on the market. It was like 30 days and we made 15K. So I made
Woo.
7,500. That was my first deal.
Yeah, you made how much?
7,500. Cause me and my,
Oh, okay. You end
you
up
know,
splitting it.
exactly.
Yeah, and that was
Exactly.
the first deal.
Yes, sir. That was the first
Man,
deal.
7,500 ain't bad, man.
I'm
Good.
telling you.
How did it feel though when when you actually got the check or got the wire or whatever? How did you feel? And then what was the next step you took?
Man, I felt like, man, I was like, I remember just thinking like, wow, this was, I had set this goal so long ago. I'm going to get into real estate and I'm studying and reading all these little books and stuff like that. When I made the first dollar from real estate, that was like, okay, that was just a complete 180 perspective change for me. I'm like, man, I can make money. I can do this. Cause I was kind of,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it was just fun because I was putting in the work, but I was definitely enjoying that, you know, because I was still working at Verizon, still doing my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I enjoy getting off work and going to do this more than I do like spending time at Verizon and getting talked to crazy or whatever. So,
Yeah.
um, but when I made that money, it was just like, okay, I can do it. It was the confirmation was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
And then the next step, my first thought, I was like, man, my goal was, how can I turn this into a business that I can keep repeat? It didn't work out quite like that,
Yeah.
but I had bought a mentor. Her name, she's actually on YouTube. Her name is Jennifer West Granahan, and she's kind of got like a little following on YouTube too. And I had
Oh,
watched
okay.
some of her videos. So she had a mentorship program for $1,997.
$1,997. And what
Right,
did you get
right.
for $1,997?
She it was like she gave me contracts, videos, like she was one-on-one personal. Uh, she gave me a lot of like she gave us a lot of stuff, a lot of resources that I still have access to that I still use. But the biggest thing, the number one thing that I got from using her was mindset. It was
Yeah.
mindset. She talked about mindset. She had me writing in the gratitude journal every week. We had a call. It was like, I think it was like a 6-week program.
Yeah.
And we talk about mindset and just talk about what it takes to um, get the first deal. And I think that was her biggest thing was mindset. So that's why I paid for it.
Yeah, that's definitely big, man. A lot of times when you haven't done a deal and people keep talking about mindset, you like, man, what are you talking about, man? I'm
Right.
trying to get money.
Yeah,
Dude, I don't need that mindset stuff, man.
yeah,
Like, dude, where is the money at?
man.
But the thing is, like, you have to have that shift in mindset in order to be able to, do the things necessary to make the money. So
Right.
I know it's hard, man. It's hard when people say mindset. You like, dude, I need to know how to do this stuff, you know.
Yeah,
But it really is the mindset. I'm telling you, that'll take you there. You know what I'm saying? So, but
man. I'm
man,
telling you.
so what was the steps? I guess the steps you took to make it turn into a business was getting in that course, and implementing the stuff that she was talking about.
Well, actually, it didn't go like I said, it didn't really go that way. After I got the course, I didn't the me and my that we split with, we were like, let's partner up and let's kind of put our energy into this or whatever. But that partnership didn't work out. So
Oh,
from
okay.
there, we kind of split up what we got from the course and just kind of went our separate ways. He had stopped, but I kept going. I was like, I had been committed to being in real estate. So I just kept going. I'm
Yeah.
putting out. So I kind of took what I knew, and now I'm still kind of back to using her resources, but also back on YouTube, just trying to figure it out and working. Still in my 9 to 5. I'm still in my 9 to 5 because it's
Yeah.
like in the 2018, going into 2019. Really, I think is when that whole thing kind of happened. And so I'm still trying. I'm handwriting letters. I'm hand dialing
And
people,
this after
calling
you got the first deal already.
after I got the first
All right,
deal.
and let's backpedal to that first deal to get everybody to breakdown, though.
Uh,
So you got it under contract for how much again?
Man, I can't. I think that one that was a month. That was crazy. For especially for the buyer on that one. But I think I got it for like 100,000. No,
Hundred
excuse me.
thousand.
Excuse me. I got it for 200,000.
Two
And
hundred
again,
thousand.
this
You
is
closed
still
on it.
prime. Yeah, yeah. Closed on it at 200,000. And he was tough. His name was Mr. Friday Black. You'll never forget that person. You never forget the name of the guy on your first deal.
I'll tell
Uh,
it.
but his name, I don't know why he calls it. That wasn't his real name, but he went by that, and he had a little thick country accent. He's like Mr. Friday Black. And 200,000. He wanted to close real fast. He's like, if you don't close in 2 weeks, then I'm just gonna keep it myself. He owns a lot of property here in Nashville.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I still contact him constant. Often I still reach out to
Yeah.
him. We got it 200,000. Fixed it up, like I said, just added a hallway, cut one of the bedrooms in half, added a hallway. Now, mind you, like I said, I didn't structure it as an assignment or a double close. I took, basically I partnered on it
Took
and
it
we
down.
did like a light rehab,
Yeah.
almost
So
a hotel.
more of like a flip. It was more of like a
Exactly.
flip.
Basically, I partnered with my mentor on a flip. We took it
Oh, okay.
down. I
So
brought the deal. She brought the money.
yeah, okay. And then you
Yeah.
made 7,500 off of it. So the next deal that you got, was that a
Yeah.
straight wholesale deal?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So
So
what ended up
how did you get yourself into that one?
that one, now we talking maybe a year later, maybe a whole year later, and I'm still
Dang.
going hard. But one goal that I did set in that time span was I told myself I'm not going to keep working at my 9 to 5, which I know we'll talk a little bit more about the transition from 9 to 5 to full time into wholesaling. But I said I want to do real estate. Let me make sure that every dollar I'm making, all my bills are paid, and everything I eat is off of real estate some way somehow. So the first thing I did after quitting Verizon, I didn't go right into wholesaling. I actually worked for a property management company for a
Uh,
couple of months, and I was making significantly less money. I was making
yeah.
little money at working for that property management company, but I was learning a lot from them and a lot of stuff that helped me down the line in my wholesale career. But what ended up happening, I went to a meetup,
Yeah.
and it was at somebody's like apartment, and it was like a lot of heavy hitters, like a lot of people that was really doing it. And this was the first time I had been around actually in person meeting a person who actually did some wholesaling. And that's all I needed. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I needed, man. I
Yeah.
got
That's a big
everybody's
deal.
number. And I met this one dude. His name is Tobias. Shout out to Tobias, man. He was already partnered up with a realtor. And they had like this partnership going. They was doing a couple deals every month, like one deal, two deals every month. I was like, y'all got a system? Y'all
Yeah.
got a system going? So he was like, yeah, man, but we kind of stretching ourselves thin. Because he had like a logistics company, he got the trucking company too.
Oh, okay.
And then the realtor, he had like life insurance or something that they was doing. So they was like partnered up. They was like, man, you come onto the team, work for us, and then you get a bonus off of whatever deals we get. And I was like, what? Oh yeah, I'll do that just because I can learn. And so they had Mojo Dialer. I didn't even have a dialer before that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So they had Mojo Dialer, and I got in the dialer, and I'm thinking I was calling for them for like 4 months, no money, no pay, no nothing. I'm just calling on the phone. But luckily, this is right around when COVID hit. So COVID hits, and so everybody's on lockdown. So I'm at the house anyway. So I took that upon myself to actually go work with them, partner. So after about, I want to say about 4 months, I ended up getting my first deal. And I was just getting a percentage of it. I got a couple deals, and I'll explain that a little bit more if you'd like me to. But I got a couple more deals, and then they was like, "All right, man, you prove yourself enough." They brought me on as a partner. Then at that point, I was getting equal pay. You know what I mean? We were just splitting all the deals that I was bringing down to 3 ways, and that's
Oh,
how
okay.
we were doing
Y'all
that.
was breaking down the deals in 3 ways. But at first you was just calling, and were you getting them under contract, or were
Right?
you do what?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Was like my first thing was like I'm like, man, I got this Verizon experience and that I've been stacking up on for years. So I'm pretty sure I can get some deals for y'all on the phone. So I got on
Yeah.
the phone and I was just calling and trying to get people in the contract. Like I said, the first 4 months I didn't get nobody, but then I finally got that one, and it was kind of like the floodgates had opened. I don't know what
Yeah.
it was. Maybe it was the time of the year. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I got one. I can't. I got a spreadsheet honestly because this was like what 2020.
Yeah.
Um, but I got a spreadsheet. But basically, the I think the major key out of that story was that I chose to partner up with somebody who had already had something established, and
Yeah.
they just put me in the acquisition manager role is basically what I was, and I was managing the VAs.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well, shoot, that's a good way to do it, man.
that's how I started. Yeah.
Yep, that's a good way to do it. Brandon Turner, Bigger Pockets, always talk about like just get involved in real estate, work for somebody else, even if you have to work for free at first,
Right.
just to get active. And I think that's a big deal, man. And shoot, I think that's a big deal. It's a good way to do it, to work with somebody. I know, like I said, if somebody worked with me, they would learn a lot about real estate. They would be able to go out there and do this and crush it themselves.
Yeah.
So if you can work for somebody who crushing it, who doing business, you will learn the business, and then that's going to be invaluable, moving forward. So,
Right. Right.
but
Absolutely.
did you end up staying with them? Did you end up leaving them? What happened with that?
It's a good question. So actually, that's where Byron Scott the Great come into play. You know what I mean? So what ended up happening was we got to a point where we was doing pretty well, and I was bringing in. And at first, we was all bringing in deals, and then it got to a point where it was just me bringing in deals.
Yeah,
And there were some other things, a part of that partnership that I kind of outgrew, but I'm forever grateful for them for giving me my shot in the beginning. So I always be grateful to them for sure. But I outgrew that, and so I had to leave. I want to say like around October of last year. I was like,
oh,
man, we had just had our biggest month. I think I did 40K. So that wasn't 40K divided by three. That was 40K to me. They got it. So
yeah,
that was like, I was like,
yeah,
okay, doing pretty good. And so I had some money, and then we kind of, we went our separate ways. And then I was like, all right, man, what am I gonna do? Like, I had been working in just the acquisition part. Now think about in your business how your acquisition manager operates.
yeah,
Now, could that person then just kind of step out and the next day do your job and run the whole business or oversee
yeah,
the whole thing? That's
yeah.
kind of, you know what I mean?
That's a
So,
little different.
ex- oh, for sure. And I found that out for sure. But I was just kind of like, this is kind of where I was just like, okay, now it's just me on my own, and I gotta really go hard. And
Yeah,
so where I was at, my mindset was, how am I going to turn? So I had this experience because I could get people under contract. I had gotten like, I want to say like over 40 people or close to 40. Let's say 40 people. It was either 38 or 42, like around there.
yeah,
In the time that I was working with them, and then I was like, man, I got that experience. I got some money, but I didn't know how to do the disposition side. I didn't know how to pull a list. I didn't know how to skip trace a list. I didn't know how to upload it to the
Yeah.
platforms. None of that.
Yeah, you gotta learn everything.
Absolutely. And so I was like, man, let me go on YouTube and find one of those first time wholesalers that one of them, like, I just got my first deal or something like that, and see what they say.
Yeah.
And then I saw your 30K video, that
Yeah.
first video, and you just on there, like, just humble, just
Yeah.
cool, calm, collective, like, man, I just did this. And I'm like, I know if
Yeah,
this
man,
guy can.
that guy.
I was like, he did it with nothing.
I be telling you, man. I be telling people the same thing. I'm like, dude, I know people look on YouTube and say, that Joker? It's like, dude, if that Joker can do it, I know I can do it. No
Man.
doubt.
And that's why I be in the live, like, hyping it up, because I'm like, man, I don't know if everybody who watch your videos know that you telling the 100% truth,
Yeah.
and you giving out information that nobody's giving out. Nobody, not even Maxwell. I
Yeah.
don't want to, shame nobody and nothing like that, but you're giving out information like actual parts. I'm like, wow, you was filling in the blanks for everything that I needed.
Yeah.
So, bro, once I found your video, I watched that video, and then I was like, clicked on your channel, and I saw this man has, from that video to, because I had this, you had been making videos by this point. So that was just the first one that I saw. You know what I mean? So when
Yeah.
I clicked on your channel, you had a whole catalog by then. I was like, this man had, from that video to $1 million. Like,
Yeah.
you documented, you made $1 million in wholesaling
Yeah.
on YouTube, and it's all here. Like, I got some of your videos that I've watched at least 5 times. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was because it was in that transitional phase, and I think that was the most important part when you asked the question, well, how do you go from 9 to 5 to wholesaling, and then how you go from wholesaling a deal to making it a business? That
Yeah.
was when the light bulb really switched for me, when I was able to see your channel and see how you put everything together. That's why I got it up here like that. The Podio, the batch dialer. This is when I was writing that. When I first saw your videos and I'm watching, I was like, oh, he's got this and that. And I was like, really just like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Like I said, I had just had a decent month, so I had some money. And I was like, and he didn't even have no money. He started off delivering
Yeah.
pizzas, and I got, a little bit of change. I got a war chest behind me, and I got a little bit of know-how, and I just gonna have to make up the rest through trial and error, the disposition
Yeah.
side of it, all of
Yeah.
these systems. Man, I am not a tech savvy dude. I am not
Yeah.
a tech savvy dude,
Yeah.
but just
You already know that.
exactly. But now, I mean, at this point, I feel like I am, because I'm like, man, I got all my systems going, and I got them moving like fluidly to a certain degree. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to work it out and get better and better. But
Yeah.
that was when I went from just, okay, I'm wholesaling, or just kind of in a complacent spot, to how do I turn it into a business for myself?
Yeah.
And that was when I found your channel, for sure.
Gotcha. So what does that business look like today? Like, what does it look like now as far as the business part that you was talking about? Like, who
Got you.
you got working for you, how does it all look? Like, how does a deal work when it come in?
Mhm.
How's your market from marketing to closing? Like, how does that process look for your business?
Got you. Exactly like your videos taught me. Exactly
Mhm.
like that. But so right now I have 2 VAs, but I only got one really working for me. One of them, she's pregnant. So her schedule's kind of, I was working with her back when I was working with the last 2 guys.
Oh, okay.
So we have a real solid rapport. So she's gonna be coming back on here pretty soon. So I'm working with one VA now, but I will have two.
Yeah.
And I'm my usual operations with two. I got one VA on the text message and launch control, and then the other VA doing the cold calling. And I use batch dialer. That's the only thing
Yeah.
out of my system that's different from yours, I think, because I know you
Yeah.
use
I
call
almost
tool.
I almost switched over to him. I'm still considering switching over to him right now. So
I
yeah.
just like the interface, man, because it reminded me a lot of when I worked for Shurion.
Yeah.
And it just kind of looks like the layout, so it just easy for me to understand.
Yeah.
But so I got the VA. I pull my list. Like I said, I'm in Tennessee. I just basically, if I pull the list on PropStream, I'm using PropStream, of course. I'm skip tracing it on Lee Sherpa, um, and then I'm uploading it myself still, to the platforms, to Launch Control and Batch Dialer, and then they're calling, and then they got to shoot straight to my Podio if one of those prospects turn into a lead. Now, for people who got VAs, that's one of the biggest things is explaining to them the difference between just a regular prospect and what actually constitutes a lead. So that way they know what to look for. And that was one of my learning curves was how do I explain that to them and get better at
Yeah,
getting them to understand that.
yeah,
Once it's a lead, they shoot it over to Podio. And like I said, I paid a grip, man. I pay like $1,500 for my Podio system because it's
where'd
one
you
of
get it from?
those. It's called Wholesale Hacker. Wholesale Hacker. And I
Where'd you
don't.
get that at? Where can they find that? Like if somebody was looking for that.
You can go to wholesalehacker.com, and when you
Yeah.
was describing the one that you have, I think they're a lot similar. I think they're really similar. And I can't remember. I think I got Wholesale Hacker from that flip with Rick,
Oh, okay.
or it might have been somewhere
So
somebody else
what
where
kind of
I.
automation does it do for you?
So it give it it's got. So when it let's say when they click a lead through and it goes to Podio, it automatically goes into Podio. As soon as that lead go to Podio, it automatically notifies the lead manager to do a follow up call, sets the task, and all of that. I can automatically. It's got a lot of automations, man. It's got a
Yeah.
lot of automations. 1,500. It better have a lot of automations, but
Yeah.
I can do the click. That's how I do all my contracts. Send it over there, and I can automatically send it one of the leads to this other app that I have in there that automatically allows me to put in the information, what number I want, whatever. Click a button. Oh my bad. Click a button, and then it generates the contract for me. I can click a button, send that contract to the seller, get them to sign it. Once they sign it, I sign it. It's complete. It automatically pulls that contract back into my Podio system and then
Man,
uploads that. And then if I want to blast it out, which I don't blast it out, which I guess that's the next part. I don't use my Podio to blast it out via email. All of my buyers kind of we just text, man, as of
yeah.
right now, and I really kind of want to get better at getting a more automated system and getting it to fit into my Podio.
Yeah.
One, because I paid for it already, but mostly because I think that'll just make things go a little bit more fluid. But what's
Yeah.
working for me now is I'll just shoot them a text message like, "Hey, man." And I do what you do. I learned this from you. I don't know if you still do this or you gotten a better way to do it. But when I got a deal, before I get it under contract and I sign with the seller, I go to the buyer first and I see, okay, can we do it at this price? And I let them know. And that's how
Yeah.
I do it. Are you still
Yeah.
doing it that way?
Yeah, no doubt, man. Got to mandatory. Get
Yeah,
that buyer in place, man. That way, when you sign it, you already know I got money behind me. I got
exactly.
somebody with that money sitting back waiting to get it done. So,
Exactly. Super
yeah, man.
and that was one of my favorite things was yours was super conservative, find your buyers first and all of that. I was like, okay, you can't go wrong. I mean, you can make mistakes, but you know what I mean? Once you got the buyer, you already got the money in place. That gave me the confidence to go out there and say, okay, now we're gonna do this. Especially someone coming from that where I was at. I could get them on the contract, but I would just normally send them off to my partners and they would handle the rest. And now I'm like, well, how am I gonna handle the rest? When I got the buyer already, that makes it
Yeah,
the buyer. And then also I got a really good title company too. And I think that makes a
yeah,
world of
dude, it's
difference.
worth it, man. Like
Yeah.
even paying a little extra, if
Yes.
you have the double club, it's still worth it, man. Having that good, solid title company that ain't gonna mess your junk up, ain't gonna screw
Have
it up
you
with the
stressing?
seller, ain't gonna. So it's
Yeah.
really big time, man, to be able to do that and have that title company. A few things though, I'm try a little I wouldn't say coaching, but
Okay.
a couple of things that you could
Go
do.
ahead. Yeah.
Everything if you teach a VA to do something, like they gonna do it. So like you're
Right.
texting, like when you would text out to the buyers, like do you have Conrail?
That's one thing I don't. Well, I had CallRail, but I didn't know how to use it. But now I need CallRail because I just integrated some new stuff into my system, and I need to get CallRail back
Yeah,
because
but
I was trying to.
Conrail is pretty good. I mean, you could
Yeah.
use Google Voice to do this, but like you can have your VAs send out those properties to those buyers, like create a format. It's like, hey, look, we want
Yeah.
every property that's sent out is sent out in this format, right?
Hmm.
That's what we got. Like it's a format. We even got it like in Podio where it's automated. They click a button. Well, now it's just click a button and go straight to the buyer. But it'll click a button and it'll put it in a format. Bam.
And it just automatically has like property details, the
Property
address.
name, property address, bedroom, bathroom, all the details that you already put in the Podio.
Mm-hmm.
it'll spit it out in that format, and it goes straight
Gotcha.
to the buyer's email. But if you wanted to text it, you just, I'm pretty sure in Podio you can get it, sent to a phone number.
Mine does
Yeah,
have
you
the
can get it
text
sent to a phone
and
number too. But if you just wanted to keep doing it your way, you can create a Google Voice for free,
mhm.
and have your VAs tell them like, hey, look, every time we need a property sent to a buyer, write it up just like this, send it to this number. You can do that through CallRail. Just send it to this number, this number, this number, buyer one, buyer two, buyer three, or something like that, and just
Gotcha.
get your VAs to send it out that way. Only thing you doing is marketing it as dispo, like need dispo in your Podio. Like, hey,
Right, right.
you just saying, hey, dispo this. They already know what to do. They send it to your buyers, and
And
then
that's before
the
you got
buyer
under
just
contract
respond.
with the seller yet, you know.
Yeah, whenever I would reach out to the buyer, my
Uh-huh.
VAs is doing that part, you know.
Got you.
And my other
Got you.
VA is the one that notified the VA to dispo it. So I ain't
Got you.
even in the process. You cut yourself completely out. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
you let the buyer start responding, you know.
And then
And
your VAs are good, like communicating back. Well, this is what I do when it comes to training my VAs on something new, or if I have to do something new, then I just be like, man, if you get stuck at a part, screenshot it and then send it to me,
yeah,
because I communicate with them via
yeah,
Skype. And then that's kind of how I teach them
yeah,
as we go, or like, you know what I mean?
yeah, but that's a good way to do that, man. I
Uh,
just found that was the way to do it. It was something else I was gonna tell you, but now it's all good, man. I can't
Hey, if you
wait, man. I
think
hope.
about it, text it to me. Call me
Hey,
anytime, man.
that's why we all got to get together, man. That's stuff that you do that can help
Yeah.
me out, stuff that I do to help you out. That's why it's all about coming together, man, and just talking. And that's why I look forward to this course that I'm putting together, man, and having like
We look forward to the
having
course.
that mastermind part of a course where it's like, hey, you got a
Yeah.
group of people that's, some maybe high level, you're gonna have some low level people jump in there, but
Mhm.
everybody be in there talking about their processes and how they get deals, stuff like that. I'm
Right.
telling you, I think that's gonna be special, man. We put that together, and I hope you jump in that thing, man. We can get that thing done. So
Man, you already know, man.
uh
I already know, man.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Very.
let's keep this thing going, man. So you told us what your business look like today, man. What your volume look like? Uh like how many deals you doing up there in Nashville? You doing anything virtually, stuff like that?
Yeah, so all of my deals are, well, I guess they're technically kind of like you. They're technically virtual. They could be
Yeah.
close to me. They could be around the corner, but I'm gonna do the same process to where like I'm not really going to see them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to see them if it's like some sort of special, like weird case, and I
Yeah.
have to. But for the most part, I just send the buyer out there, or the buyer sends they people, whatever.
Yeah.
But actually, I live in Nashville, but I'm invested in Clarksville. That's
Oh,
where I
okay.
do. That's where my primary primary market is. I've got the two deals. I closed a deal last week. I closed a deal yesterday. I've got two deals under contract. It's like a wholesale. Same, actually, ironically, it's the same as my very first deal. I'm doing it with the same person,
Oh
but
yeah.
these are the first deals I've done since then. So since 2019, I ain't done a deal with that buyer. So, but we've got two that we actually partnered on, that we are flipping. These are in Franklin, which is a very hot. It's like was it Buckhead? That's the rich part of
Yeah. Yeah.
Atlanta. Yeah, yeah, it's like Buckhead. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
okay.
um, so my volume, man, I want to say, man, I want to say probably about. It just depends on how focused I am,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean. Uh, and it just all of those factors. So I want to say probably about like a deal a week.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like me not really, like I don't got my call rail in play. Like little stuff like that
Dude.
will make the whole process a lot more seamless. But when I was focused, especially when I had first started and I was kind of coming to that transition, just getting onto your videos, it was like man, I felt like I was getting like two deals a week. And then I
Yeah.
kind of was like, all right, now I got to figure out how to close them. And that kind of took a lot of my
Yeah.
mental focus.
Yeah.
And I was just learning, you know what I mean? So right now I wouldn't say, I'd say on average, probably like a deal a week.
Hey, that's real good, man, dude. If I could do a deal a week, that was my goal. It's like, dude, if I could do a deal a week,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make 10K off each deal. That was my goal. And if
Right.
I'm making 40K a month, it's like, dude, I know I don't need no more money than that. It's like,
Yeah, you super
everything else
straight.
gonna be gravy on top. You know what I'm
You
saying?
super straight.
So
Hey, man,
you
I got a
doing
question for
good,
you
man. You
real
doing
quick.
good. You out there crushing it, man. Trust me, you out there crushing it.
Absolutely, man. I got one question for you though. I want to know when you hit that first 100K month, what was going through your head when you were just like, man, I hit 100K? Or when did you, was it kind of like when the dust settled, you look back and was like, oh man, I did 100K last month?
Yeah.
Or it was
Well,
one of
what
those?
happened was, shoot, I was just going head down, and
Hmm.
I ended up doing 88 one month, and then I looked down like, shoot, because I
Yeah.
had some deals that were supposed to close that didn't close, and they got pushed back to the next month. So I was like,
Okay.
I was supposed to do 88. I was supposed to do 100 just then, and I did
Right.
88. I was like, boy, that's stupid. 88 is stupid enough. It was
That's
like,
wild.
and
Boy,
then
boy.
so that next month I knew that 100 was coming. So I was like it
Man,
ended up being like 120 or something like that. So it was just stupid, man.
man.
And then I again and again and again and again, and it was like, oh my, like
Yeah,
it
that's
got
my
to the
goal.
point where it was like, this is too much. You know what I'm saying? Like it was too many deals. I couldn't keep up with them.
It
It
sounds
was
like one of
like
them good
too
problems, man. New
many
problems. You got
deals.
to hit them new problems. I've been on that 10X. When you told me to read the 10X rule, I was like, man, I had kind of got into it like years before. Like, nah. I went back and read it again. And that the second half of the book is really where it picks up
Yeah,
and where it kind of gets like, man, you going. But then that 10X mentor just dropped.
it go right into it, dude.
Man, man,
That 10X mentor is where it's at, man. But
that's
shoot,
a
man,
wild
we
book.
finna go ahead and get to the Fab Five questions, man, and get you
Let's
on up
do it.
out of here, man.
Let's do it.
So the first question is, what was your favorite mindset book that helped you get started?
Man, it was. See if I got it on now. I ain't got it right here. I got a lot of books, man. I've read a lot of books. Books are a huge part of that, and that's a huge part why I was drawn to your channel in particular. Um, I would say the 10X rule. I would say Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, because that's kind of like a lot of people that's their first book, but actually it's The Millionaire Real Estate Investor
Oh,
by Gary Keller.
oh yeah,
uh,
yeah,
he's the guy who founded Keller Williams.
yeah,
He's the partial founder of Keller Williams. But when I was in New Hampshire working at Verizon, I met my first mentor ever. She was a well-to-do real estate agent. She came into the Verizon and she gave me her business card and wrote on the back, "The Millionaire Real Estate Investor." And I was like, hmm. And that was one of the first books I got. And the biggest thing in that book that really like changed my whole perspective was he talks about, sorry, but he talks about how if you want to build a company, you got to start off with the big business mindset in the beginning. So
yeah,
one of his biggest things was, it's like, okay, let's say for example, you're a real estate investor, or let's say a real estate agent, because he also has the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which I read too. If you're making 80,000 a year, you're gonna pay. You need an assistant that's going to help you grow your business. You're going to pay them 40,000 a year. And you're like, why would I pay my assistant 40,000? Or I think that even the numbers like you making 80,000 a year, pay them 60 a year, and you making 20 a year, you taking home 20,000 a year. And so to some people, they'd be like, man, how I'm going home with 20,000 and my assistant going home with more than me? But realize that's just in the first year. As you grow it and as you grow the business, the money you put into hiring the right people, and it just use that for example, but the money you put into hiring the right people will come back to you tenfold. But in the beginning, you've built the business from the very beginning like a millionaire business, like $1 million business. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
man. That's
Starting
big
off
right
from the
there.
beginning, and that stuck with me. That really stuck with me. It started off like, and that was the big thing. Like, cause when I was listening to your channel, I could have been like, man, I'm just gonna grab a dialer and that's it. I don't need to get the Podio. I don't need to get the launch control tool. I'm just starting off. After I had like went through that transition. But now I was like, man, go ahead and start off big. And I
Yeah,
wouldn't necessarily recommend that to everybody. I had money, to
yeah,
invest into it. So I was like, through the grace of God, I'm in this position, so I'm going to take full advantage of it. And I got the know-how, and it all just kind of came together. And that's why that book is probably one of my favorite mindset books, because he got a lot of gems in there as far as real estate goes. But he
yeah,
talks about that thinking like that, thinking big to begin with. But
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thinking big is huge. Yeah, definitely Gary Keller book that
yeah,
that book and the one thing, both of them was really good, man. So
yeah.
those two books that I definitely read. So what's your favorite wholesale slash real estate book? Anyone specifically about wholesaling or just real estate in general? I know that the last one is kind of about real estate, but you got anything else for us?
Uh, yeah, I do actually. I do. I got one, man. Okay, here it is. Russ Whitney. This book right here.
Oh
It's
yeah.
something. It's something about the old school. These books that was like written in the '90s. Something about these
What's that
books right.
again?
It's called Building from Rags to Riches through Real Estate. Building wealth from rags to riches to real estate.
There you
Russ
go.
Russ Whitney. He don't look like that no more. If you look him up today, you know what I mean. He's got older because this book was from actually my uncle. He was locked up. He was in prison. And he got this book when he was in prison. And when he got out, he kept it. That's why his last name, my grandfather's name is Stewart. And so this was his.
Oh, okay.
He was able to get out and he gave this to me when I told him, man, I really want to go into real estate or whatever. This book, this is it.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just got a lot of gems in these old books. Also, I don't want nobody to be mad at me, but I have read Donald Trump's some of his real estate books,
Yeah.
and he just talking like as far as real estate, him as a person, whatever. But real estate, he's just got straight to the point. Like this is what you do, and they get you to think a lot bigger. But
Yeah.
this is one of my favorite ones
Yeah, I
because
gotta go check that out, man. Definitely gotta
definitely
go check that out.
just
No doubt.
anything Russ Whitney. Russ Whitney, he's an old school dude, but he's just giving you the stuff that still work today. So that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Definitely gotta go check that out. So the next question, second to the last question we got for you. So what do you think separates people that's successful at wholesaling from people who fail, give up, or never get started?
They'll give up or never get the give up, the giving up part. Because if you watch this live again, you'll see I just told you my whole transition from the culmination when I was in New Hampshire, just like, man, what do I want to do? And I completely somebody told me about wholesaling. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Have you lost your mind? And then now, fast forward years later, I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I was focused. Two failed partnerships. I done been cussed out so many times over the phone. My character has been attacked over the phone. I done had deals so close, and then they just disappeared into thin air several times on several different occasions. So many ups and downs. I done had so many droughts. We call it the feast or famine, which I want to get to a place where I don't have to do any more famines anymore. And I'm building, you know what I mean? But I've been through plenty of famines when it was tough, when it was weird, things was changing. I was wholesaling before COVID. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So when COVID came, you gotta, watch that pivot and all
yeah,
of those things, but I just didn't quit. And that's the only thing that's gonna make because as long as you stay consistent and don't quit, you're gonna realize a couple key things is one, what you put into it is what you get out of it. That's why I say as consistent as I can be, that determines how many deals I can get. Because I feel like I can go get 5 deals tomorrow. I feel like because if I could sit down and just go in and no distractions or nothing like that, then absolutely. And so it's ultimately staying committed long enough to realize how to put what you need to put into it to get what you need out of
All right. One last question from me before I get to the final question is,
it.
man,
Okay.
you keep bringing up New Hampshire, man. I don't think I ever heard anybody talk about they lived in New Hampshire.
Especially, hey, especially no people like us. You know what I mean? It wasn't none of them. It wasn't none of them.
It's like, what is up there in New Hampshire, man? It's like,
Man, it's wild, man. Like I said, that's a whole nother story. But somebody who I knew lived up there because they were stationed in the military up there.
oh,
And it
okay.
was like they was on a special assignment in New Hampshire. And like I said, my life, I was with like 19 at the time. And
Oh, 19 in New Hampshire. What is it like being 19 in New Hampshire, man?
bro, I'm telling you, I mean, it was very rough because I'm from the South. Like I said, I had a weird upbringing. Like my dad coming up, my dad was always in and out of prison and stuff like that. I didn't really have no guidance. And around that time, my life was real rough, man. Like I was like sleeping in my car. I was
Yeah.
sleeping outside. I remember sleeping outside on the bus stop bench, like no joke. And so
Dang.
when somebody was willing to help me that I knew, you know what I mean? I was like, they was like, yeah, you can come up here. I mean, I got this set up here in New Hampshire. You can come. I was like, man, I don't want to go that far away. But I think, I'm a man of faith, and I believe like God tell you, if you don't quiet that noise down, I'm gonna quiet it down for you. And he kind of, I think that's what that was, part of
Yeah.
the pruning process. But I was up there, snow, below zero cold, man. And that's the thing. It don't hurt. The cold don't hurt you until the snow stop. You
Yeah.
think the snow is the problem. When the snow stop, that's when the cold start cutting you, man. It's so cold it burns somehow. I don't even know, but I'm
No.
telling you, that's when the problem kicking in, man. So it was tough. It was rough up there. I would fish out of water for
Yeah.
sure. And I'm from the South. So
Well, shoot, that's big, man. Having to
yeah,
fight through a lot of adversity,
for sure.
and make it through a lot of adversity and to get to where you at now, man, that's really big time, man. And you know,
Absolutely.
you gotta love it, man. But
Can't
last
wait to get that
question,
100K
man.
month.
Do what?
I can't wait to hit my first 100K month.
Oh, hey, you on your way, man. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But last question, man. Where can people find out more about you? Where can they connect with you?
man. I don't have no, I don't have no social media outlets. And I already know you're gonna be like, cause you're pretty good with that, and I know, especially obviously reading the 10x rule, and the 10x mentor really like changing me. But I ain't had social media in years, probably since I moved to New Hampshire, just because it was, for me, it was just like a waste of time, a distraction because I was a kid at the time. But now using it for business connections and stuff, I'm like, okay, I need to get on it, but I don't have. I gotta make it. That's why I never hit you up on Instagram. And I remember when I first would reach out to you on YouTube, you're like, man, just DM me on Instagram. I'm like, man, I don't got an Instagram, no Instagram, no Facebook or nothing. But I'll make one. If you want to reach out to me, man, catch me when he dropped that course. I'm gonna be a part of the
There
mastermind. That's where
you
I'm gonna be
go,
off in there,
man.
man.
If you want to
Definitely,
reach
one
out to
thousand percent.
Cordero, come to the mastermind course when I drop the course on July 24th, man. He'll be in the mastermind part, man. Y'all go check that out.
Hey,
But
man,
anyway, man, go ahead.
now I say I'm gonna give me a social media so that way people can reach out to me. Should you like to, I'll be there for you all. If you have any questions, I'm in almost all the lives. So if you want to connect, just let me know.
All right, man. We finna get out of here, man. My daggone camera done died and everything. But we finna get out of here, man. Appreciate y'all coming through. Cordero, appreciate you coming through, man. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
All righty.